up next, we have a new comic to the Wholehearted Winery. And with the temperatures getting a little bit cooler out, this next comic is sure to make you feel warm and fuzzy. Please welcome Robert Schneider.
Give it up for Sarah. Give it up for Sarah. Woo. Give it up for yourselves for coming out tonight. Yeah, you people are brave for coming out with everything that's going on right now. I'm going to tell you, it took every last ounce of courage for me to get off the couch to come here and tell jokes. The last few months have been horrible. I haven't laughed as much as I used to. I think I've cried more than I've ever cried before. And I've had to say goodbye to people I cared about. Yeah, life has been really rough since Modern Family ended. And even worse, it ended in the midst of a pandemic, which has thrown my life into complete and utter disarray. I lost my job, had to put my cat to sleep, my car broke down, and the woman I was hanging out with said, "Let's just be friends." And as bad as all that stuff was, they didn't come close to the worst thing that happened, which was my cousin who writes country music moved in with me for inspiration. Yeah, I think we can all agree that the pandemic has been a life-changing event. But right before the world went into lockdown, I had another life-changing event. I got to meet my birth mother. Yeah, it was pretty cool. We had dinner. She told me about her life. I told her about mine. And then she told me about my birth father. He was 15 years older than her, which meant he was 30 when they met. Do the math. He was also married, which back in those days was more scandalous than the first thing. He also had lots of girlfriends, which means my birth pops was a player. He was also a magician because he disappeared right after she told him she was pregnant. It happens. Yeah, it does. And I'll tell you, I got really upset when I heard that. Because at that moment, I realized that being smooth with women obviously skips a generation. Yeah, I know you can't tell by looking at me, but I am terrible with women. Case in point, I once told a woman that I loved her on our second date. Bonehead move, right? Thanks, buddy. You are my new favorite person in the world. Yeah, I told this woman that I loved her on our second date, and I was hoping she'd say the same words back to me. But no, she had to break my heart by saying, "Robert, I don't love you. There's another. For my heart and soul belong to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, sent by his Father from the heavens above to die for our sins." I was like, that sucks. At least my dad was cooler. He sent me to college so I could party and try to get laid. Like blasphemy, heretic, deplorable. Before storming out of the restaurant and my life. Moral of the story is if you're Jewish, it's probably best not to date anyone you meet on Christian Mingle. A big takeaway from that joke is I am Jewish. And I'm going to admit, I hated growing up Jewish for lots of reasons. One of them was I had to wear a yarmulke all the time. First time I took it off. Yeah, probably should have left it on. Another reason was we kept kosher, which meant I never had bacon until I went to college. Yeah. It was there I realized, how can we be called the chosen people if we weren't chosen to eat bacon? I also realized bacon makes everything better. Like eggs, lettuce and tomato sandwiches, Hebrew national hot dogs, and blowjobs. Hear me out on this one. That's why they make bacon-flavored condoms. Look, I am not opposed to ever fellatiating another dude, but I'd be more apt to do it if I knew it was going to taste like bacon. Oh man, where do we go from there? I'm going to talk about drugs. Yeah, crowd pleaser right there. You remember the first time your parents busted you for drugs? I was 20 years old when it happened, and my mom called for me to come downstairs, and when I got to the living room, her and my dad were sitting on the couch, and my dad was holding my vial of Coke. Yeah. He was like, "What is this?" I was 20 years old. I thought I was smarter than my parents, so I lied, and I said, "It's baking powder. I use it to brush my teeth." My dad then yelled, "Baking powder doesn't make your mom's gums go numb." I was caught. And when you're caught, the only thing you can do is tell the truth, so I said, "Mom, Dad, it's cocaine." And my mom then yelled, "Why do you have it? Are you an addict?" I'm like, "No, I don't even use the stuff. I just use it to meet women." My mom was like, "You don't need drugs to meet women. You have a wonderful personality. They're coming over here all the time to see you." And I'm like, "That's because I have free Coke." As I said that, my mom wiped a tear from her eye as she turned to my dad and said, "Aw, he's using the same move you used to woo me." I learned a lot about my parents that night, like they're thieves, because they never returned my Coke to me. All right, what else can we talk about? You were talking about my Superman shirt earlier. Yeah, I was at Myers earlier today, and I was walking down the aisle, and this little kid in his mom's shopping cart pointed at me and said, "Mom, look, it's Superman." And I was honored. I was honored because I just met the dumbest kid in the world. How could he think I was Superman? Superman can wear tights. I should never wear tights. Superman is faster than a speeding bullet. In my case, the bullet wins. But his mom, thank God, she played along and said, "Yes, son, that is Superman. But it looks like his weakness isn't kryptonite. It looks like it's Cheetos." I just glared at her, and I just said, "Thank you, lady. I knew I forgot something." All right, where do we go from there? Let's talk about porn. You look like someone who loves porn. Both of you.
Who doesn't?
I'll tell you, my best friend, he hates it. Especially after I told him that his daughter does it. Yeah, he did not believe me. And then I showed him her clips on Pornhub. Then things got really uncomfortable. He actually started crying in front of me, and then he attempted to punch a hole in his wall. As he was doing that, all I could think of was, man, I'd probably react the same way if I discovered my 18-year-old daughter was making way more money than me. Yeah, I do love porn, but it's not my favorite genre of film. That honor would belong to horror movies. Recently discovered my 15-year-old niece loves them as well. So last Sunday, I called her up on the phone and said, "Hey, Lisa, what's your favorite scary movie?" And she's like, "Oh, Uncle Robert, it's The Purge." And I was like, "Well, that's an obvious choice, since you're bulimic." I am so glad some of you laughed at that one. My sister-in-law hates that joke. She thinks I'm using her daughter's ailment as for personal gain. She's right. But I'm going to tell you now her second least favorite joke. My 18-year-old nephew recently announced to the family that he's joining the Army. Not because he's patriotic and wants to serve this great country. He's joining because he kicks ass at Call of Duty and pretty much completes every mission on the first try. He figures with mad skills like that, he'll become a national hero in no time. I'm going to tell you that I've never been more proud that I am no longer the dumbest member in my family. Yeah. However, they still consider me a massive screw-up. Biggest thing I've ever screwed up doing was when I tried killing myself when I was 16. It's about to get dark. Let me paint the picture for you. I stood on the table in the center of my bedroom, tied the rope to a light fixture attached to the ceiling, placed the noose around my neck, and I jumped. Instead of meeting my maker, I met the floor head first, bringing down the light fixture and part of the ceiling. My mom definitely heard the loud crash because she ran upstairs, barged into my room, and had this look of concern on her face as she stared at me and the damage that I inflicted upon the house. After several long seconds, she yelled, "Robert, if you didn't quit Boy Scouts, you would have gotten your rope tying merit badge and would have been able to finish what you started. Now get your ass up off the floor and help me clean up your mess." You looked a little distraught over that one. I just want you to know I'm joking. I'm just messing with you. My mom never offered to help. She's a peach. I normally end with that joke, but you guys seem pretty cool, especially you two. So I'm going to end with a dirty joke. You guys like dirty jokes? Awesome, awesome. I'm going to tell you about the third time I ever had sex. I know what you're thinking, bro, why didn't you tell us about the first time?
Well, you've had it 3 times.
I've had it more than that. Just ask your mom. All right. So yeah, I tell you about so yeah, you're probably wondering why I told you about the third time. Well, the first time would have been a really quick one. Yeah, this joke's a little bit longer, like my dick. Yeah, it happened back when I was in college and I hooked up with this really cute punk rock chick that I met at a party. One thing led to another, and that led us back to her dorm room. As soon as we got there, clothes started flying off. And after she ripped off her bra, because back then I had no idea how to unclasp one, I saw something that disgusted me. A swastika tattooed to her left breast. Now, I was 18 and I really want to touch those boobs, along with other parts of her body. But I also started thinking, I should probably get out of here. This is not going to end well. My junk had other thoughts. It was like, bro, we don't know if this is ever going to happen again. We're going to stay here. We're going to do it. And then after an appropriate amount of cuddling and small talk, we are going to go back to our dorm room and feel guilty about this because that's what we're good at. Now, I couldn't argue with my junk's logic. So I walked over the bed, got on top of her, and we started making the sweet love. 45 seconds later, a new record. Our love story reached its eventual climax. That means I finished. And as I was rolling off of her, our eyes locked. She then smiled and said, "What are you thinking about?" To which I replied, "I bet when you chant 'fuck the Jews' at your little rallies, this isn't what you were picturing." My name's Robert Schneider. Thank you.
Keep it going for Robert.